Hey guys, and welcome to a very special, it is episode 150. Can you believe we've been doing this for 150 episodes? Isn't that crazy? I still can't believe it myself. Also, this is the seventh in my content creator community series. So thanks for sticking with me on this journey, guys. So here's my question. If there's ever a board game being played, there's a good chance that today's guest has streamed it, has played it, and has taught it, or has already posted about it. That's the kind of connection that she builds through her content. Ever an omni gamer, a live play host, and an all around community booster in the board game world. She creates welcoming spaces through streaming. She shares her love of every kind of game, and somehow she still finds time to hype up other content creators. So, who better to help me celebrate episode 150 and the seventh episode in this series? I'm excited to have her on the show. So, let's get into it with Amanda Panda. Amanda, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for inviting me on to lucky number 7.
Yeah, lucky 7 and episode 150.
I know, that's
You hit
crazy.
the
Congratulations.
thank you so much. It's been a wild ride. 3.5 years on we're on all the platforms. The only platform we're not on is Twitch. But we're everywhere else now. We're coming
It's
to
a
you
different
wherever you go.
monster. Like
It
Twitch is a
is.
different
Yeah,
beast. And I know a lot of podcasts don't do Twitch because then you are breaking up the rhythm of the
oh,
interview with, chatting with the chat and stuff. And so they do
sure.
like YouTube afterwards, is it vlogcast? I think someone told me, is it going to be a vlogcast? And I'm like, a vlogcast? I guess that means
Vlogcast.
video podcast now.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, so it was interesting. Last week, I was talking with Iris at Crimson Board Games in the Netherlands, and we were just reminiscing about the past and talked about technology. And after 150 episodes, I'm thinking back to those like first 30 episodes when I had a condenser mic through Bluetooth on my iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
It was audio only. We didn't even have video to see each other, and so it was Gareth and I. And then we finally got a platform where we could at least do video. We didn't record video, but we could see each other. Man, that made all the difference. Because if you go back to those first 30 episodes, we talk over each other. The rhythm is just all. It was a hot mess.
But you have to learn through that, right? You have to grow through that, or else you'll never get to the position you're at now. No one starts with a perfect anything. So,
Right?
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
keep trying. Never, give up.
That's the general message that I get from all the content creators is just go at it and don't give up. Yeah. So yeah. That's that was a stroll down memory lane for a minute that I was not planning on doing here. So Amanda, let me ask you, what was the very first board game that you ever played as a child?
It's gonna I played Monopoly Live,
Yep.
Mousetrap. I remember getting the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's as a child. That's
Right.
the mass market.
Right. All
I
the
think
classics.
one of the first, my first few hobby games would be Lords of Waterdeep, Takenoko. The very first board game I ever bought that's hobby is Caverna.
Caverna. Oh wow. That goes back too, right?
Yeah, that goes back, and it was a big game in a heavy box. Yeah, and I had to go to the, quote unquote friendly local game store, which wasn't so friendly for women. I tottered in my heels and my skirt, and they're all the guys stopped, turned around, and looked at me, and I'm like, okay, this is a little weird. But yeah, it's gotten so much better from when I started. A lot more women without significant others,
Right.
enjoying the hobby.
Yeah.
We've got more inclusive third spaces, board game cafes and stuff. My favorite one, the Game House, unfortunately closed due to the pandemic, but they were the most inclusive, warm, just best comforting space. They had a great library that was a combination of the two owners' personal library. And me and my coworker, Ruby, we would go from when they opened every Saturday. We'd pull random games off the shelf, learn them from the rule book, and then play them. And so, yeah, we were one of the first few tables that were only women, which means we got like a little bit featured. We got some interviews because of that. But then they really curated, clientele of like families and good groups, and everyone felt safe and comfortable there. So I'm looking for another game house to really help support.
So you're in remind me, you're in Southern California?
Yep, Southern
Okay.
California.
Okay.
We have a lot of good places though. It's just whether you want to drive.
You do. I was just at the end of August. I was in Anaheim, California.
Disneyland?
Disneyland, yes.
Yeah.
It's not why we were there. We were there for a work conference, but
Okay.
we did spend a day at Disneyland. But I was able to meet up with some fellow content creators who lived close enough and were able to meet me. And where'd we go? We went to a board game cafe called Meeple Family.
Yes. Yeah.
Meeple Family.
And they had the indoor tents, right? You all got in your own tents, and it's like was it campground tables, and one thing we didn't like was the chairs though, because they're like attached. Yeah.
They were. Some of them were. You're right. We started off with a table not in a tent because they were all occupied. And then later on, we were able to move into one because the night was, waning, and we were able to, hang out and play games. That was a really lovely place.
Yeah. Really nice.
There are 3 local game stores here in Springfield, Illinois, but there are no board game cafes. It's been my observation that in the United States, board game cafes are really only found in large metropolitan areas.
Or near universities, maybe.
Right. Well, the beauty of our game stores is there's game space, there's open gaming space. They just don't charge for it. You go into the game store, and then you could buy a game and go play it if you want it. They do have a games library as well. Yeah. Guys have been listening to me for years talk about Titan Games. You can find them on Instagram at Titan Games Springfield. No, they are not a sponsor of this show.
They should be.
Yeah, maybe one day. Maybe one day. So that's great. So Caverna, so you said Takenoko.
Lords of Waterdeep.
Lords of Waterdeep. Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
And Caverna. Yeah. Do you remember which of those 3 were first?
Probably it's going to be Takenoko because I love pandas, and that's my whole thing.
Yeah.
Is pandas. Yep. I think I remember watching Will Wheaton play Takenoko on his show Tabletop.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but probably Takenoko. But I have to say, Lords of Waterdeep is the first game I blinged out. Like when Meeple Source started their Kickstarters and stuff.
Yep.
Like that's my first blinged out game. I replaced all the cubes with little meeples.
With the meeples. I keep going back and forth because they won't fit in the insert that I've got. Because I blinged out Waterdeep a little bit. You know what's interesting about Lords of Waterdeep is that game holds up really well. I know we play it several times every year. It hits our table. Whereas other games of that age maybe don't hold up quite as well. Like Lords of Waterdeep is still just a top-notch, solid worker placement. And what I love about it is you don't have to know D&D or the lore to play that game. But you're playing D&D, I mean, right? Which is cool. So okay, if you can remember, take me to that moment. Up to this point, you had only ever played, widely mass-produced classics, and you'd not played a modern game. And so you have some friends or family, and they put Takenoko on the table, and you probably love pandas already, right?
Yep.
So what was that experience like for you?
Oh, it's always going to be me because my family and friends are not the one. I'm always the instigator of board games and asking people to join me. My first thing was it was beautiful. Like the art in Takenoko is just gorgeous. and you have a panda like standee, and that was awesome. I was like kind of sad that I could not own the panda standee that everyone kind of moves, you know.
Sure.
I wanted to
Yep.
be the panda eating the bamboo, but it was easy enough that we could figure it out, and it wasn't hard to get into. It's not terribly heavy game. I think it's a good game for a casual gamer, and the rulebook was really cute because it's in comic book form. So yeah, it's a really nice one to get into the hobby with. And
Yes.
there's been a lot of, you know, older games that people have gotten into the hobby with, which is mainly what Ticket to Ride and Catan.
Yep.
I feel like Takenoko should have been one of them. Like, I feel like it's a little underrated. I just think that the publisher probably wasn't doing it widespread. Although now I'm interested, I didn't get it yet, but they have a new version that's colorblind friendly, which is really nice to be able to, yeah,
Interesting.
allow for more colorblind, friendly games was
That's
definitely a trend
cool.
the last few years for sure. Yeah.
What I think, I can't speak for any other game, and I would encourage you to go back to episode 135 and listen to that episode. I interviewed, and I think my, my listeners are tired of hearing this. I interviewed the CEO of Catan Studios, Pete Fenlon. He's getting ready to retire, and he's the guy responsible for convincing Klaus Teuber to translate Catan into English and bring it to the United States back in 1997. And so they're celebrating the 30th anniversary this year. So I was able to get him on the show. And he said that it was always his mission 30 years ago to have Catan supplant Monopoly in the pop culture mindset, right? So their business model 30 years later is still, when someone thinks about board games, they think about Catan instead of Monopoly. And I think you're right about why Takenoko didn't rise to that level, because it's the way the publisher was focused.
Yeah, it's really cool. Now they put out an eco-friendly, all wooden, compostable game. So yeah,
Yeah,
that was another trend.
I love that publishers and producers are starting to go that direction, which is fantastic. Yeah, we're seeing more of that. So, okay, so we got Takenoko, which is primarily tile placement with a few
Action
other mechanics.
selection,
Yeah,
tile
a little bit.
placement. We'll take that because you can eat
It
other people's
can.
bamboo.
That's true. Yeah, especially if you're a gardener trying to grow it.
Yeah.
I got a feeling that's going to be you and me. You're going to be the panda eating all the bamboo that I'm trying to grow, because I love the gardener. But
Oh, yeah. If we ever play together, that's probably true. I
yes,
like getting the panda cards instead of the gardener objectives.
nope,
Although
I totally get that.
the gardener objectives does give you more points, so
It's true. It's true.
yeah.
Oh, hey, when playing Takenoko, is it an obligation that when you move the panda, you have to make the chomping sound that you're eating the
No, we
bamboo?
don't do that. I mean, that's a
So
great house rule.
my
Yeah.
wife gets mad if you move the panda. If you take a panda card and you move the panda on your turn and you don't go and put it in, yeah, if you don't make the noise,
Mhm.
she will kick you out of our house. Alternatively, she'll do the same thing when we're playing Heat, right? Pedal to the metal.
Is
When
the
you do,
vroom vroom?
if you don't go vroom,
Mhm.
she gets mad at you. Yeah, so you gotta make the noises. They matter. They
Yeah.
matter. And then Waterdeep is primarily, though not exclusively, worker placement. Caverna, definitely resource management, such. So, granted, I'm not saying that it's limited to these three games, but do you have a favorite game mechanic that you don't care what the theme is, you don't care who the players are, you're going to play this game because you're so excited about the mechanic?
I always say worker placement. I feel like
Okay.
worker placement can have a lot of variation. It's usually not very mean. I mean, there's that blocking mechanism, but there's no real take that in worker placement.
That's true.
Usually.
Yeah.
And I love it because it's, about, building up your resources to do objectives for the most part, getting things to help do more things. It kind of combos and builds on top of each other. So I love worker placement games. If you say Worker placement, I'll be like, okay, I'll definitely try it. If you say area control though, I'll be like, wait, I'm sus. I don't know. You'll have to
Okay.
really, you'll have to really. I'm always like going through the lists of, like different cons. I'm like, area control. It'll be at my end of my list to go check out. But yeah,
So
I don't like the
so
mean.
no
Don't
war
steal
games
things
for
from me.
you.
I worked and I build up my resources. Don't come and take it from me.
So do you have a favorite worker placement game?
Well, that's so hard because it really
Sure.
depends.
Okay,
Like
well
because I
then
like light games all the way to very heavy
sure.
games like
Yep,
Lacerdas and stuff.
sure.
If I was going to introduce someone to worker placement, my two go-to would be Lords of Waterdeep or asking for Troubles, because
Oh,
asking for
yeah.
Troubles is like Lords of Waterdeep, but it's friendly in that your spaces aren't blocked, but when you bump someone out, you get a little something extra, and they get a little something. So, it's a little more friendly than Lords of Waterdeep. Same mechanic where you're just getting stuff to fulfill contracts, but it's set in space. Yeah,
I'm all for space games. That's a theme that warms my heart. Yeah,
nice.
I
Yeah,
love space games.
there's a
So
lot. You have a lot to choose from.
there really is. There really is a lot. And I'm not picky, right?
Mm,
Because and I realize not all space games are created equally. But I
mm-hmm.
do I mean, I'm a big fan of Star Wars, so naturally Star Wars games kind of win. And if you were to ask, I'm probably just a little bit more of a Star Trek fan than a Star Wars fan, but
Same.
I don't see them to be, I don't think they're at odds. I think you can love them both.
Well, they're totally different. Besides being space and battle, they're
Yes.
totally different. Like
Right.
one's set in a ideal futuristic exploration. The other one's like post-apocalyptic, like fighty, it's
Right.
all dirt and death and like you're just trying to scrounge your way, scrounge a living. While they have replicators in Star Trek and no one's really, starving, and I
That's
don't
true.
think they're the same. They just both star with star.
Well, and they are in space, right?
It's true. Yeah.
But beyond, I think that's where the comparisons definitely diverge. I get that. But yeah, the problem is for me is there's just not a lot of good Star Trek games. There are
Did you?
more Star Wars games that are actually fun to play. There's so many Star
Hmm.
Trek games that let me down. And if I
Okay.
find a Star Trek game, I will buy it. I
Mm-hmm.
don't need a review. I will buy it and I will play it and I'll keep it for a really long time, even if it's terrible. But eventually it's going to have to go. And there's just not a lot of them. There are some, but I
Did
don't
you
know what it
try?
is. What's
Did you
that?
try Star Trek Catan?
Oh, yes. Yep.
That was
Absolutely.
not bad.
It's not. It's not bad. But then it's only a Star Trek skin of, right,
That's true.
Catan. I'm
That's
thinking
true.
like, see, what was it? It was that two player miniatures game that was just terrible. It was on my board game backlog for years because we couldn't figure out how to play it.
That's
I was
hard
just
when the rulebook
yeah,
doesn't allow
Fleet
you to.
Fleet Captains maybe Star
Oh,
Trek Fleet
yeah.
Captain
But
was
there's now
not
Star
very
Trek
good.
Captain's Chair. Have you played that one?
So I haven't played it. I saw a demo and I was like, this game is just too much math. It's so much. It's so much. I love Star Trek Ascendancy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, that's area control. But it has weaknesses, although Gale Force 9 is working through that. I love Star Trek Panic.
Mm-hmm.
Love Star Trek Panic. Love 5-Year Mission. Star Trek 5-Year Mission is a really great game, too. Good cooperative, dice placement game. The tension builds. If you've played that, and you mentioned Tabletop by Will Wheaton, they played that on an episode. And now that I remember that, that game is, that's a solid win in my book. Hard to find game, but yeah, I mean, so there are some good ones, but there are some really bad Star Trek games, which is just unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, the one behind you from CGE was
Yeah,
that Starship
Starship
Captain.
Captains.
Does feel
Yeah,
like a Star Trek game.
I mean, it's a Star Trek game without having the license, and it's really good.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a good game. I wish it
yeah.
were a licensed Star Trek game, but oh well. So, how about do you have? I mean, I ask this question of everyone. It's a two-parter because I realized how challenging the first part is. So my question is, do you have a favorite game of all time? If you don't, because I know that's difficult, do you have a favorite game right now that is just hitting your table frequently?
See, I have multiple favorite games, but it depends on who I'm playing with. Like, I have a favorite, like, two-player game. I have a favorite, like, heavy game. I have a favorite game when I don't know who I'm going to be playing with, right? And then I have
Okay.
a favorite, like, party game that you get. But I think my favorite game right now that I've been playing a whole bunch of is Darwin's Journey.
Oh,
Yeah,
so good.
that one's so good. Yeah.
Darwin's Journey is just magical. And it plays
And it,
really well at all player counts.
yeah. And it's on BGA, makes it easier to play and get
Yep.
multiple games in,
Yes.
So yeah.
I can't remember what episode. I'm usually pretty good about the episode numbers, but we did an entire episode dedicated to Darwin's Journey where we spent like 45 minutes just talking about how much we really enjoyed Darwin's Journey. It's just a solid game. And Thundergriff, they're just a great publishing house. You know, their games
Mm-hmm.
are really strong. So good choice. Yeah. Because Darwin's Journey plays really well at 2. So I have to ask because my wife is also a gamer. We were both gamers when we met and married. So we play a lot of two-player games. What is your favorite two-player game?
For me and my friend Ruby, who I usually play two-player games with,
Okay,
and we like the quickness of it, is Star Realms or Hero Realms.
sure.
Yeah, just a quick back and forth. We already know it very well. We can just pop, 2 or 3 games out in a short period of time, and that's kind of like our go-to. Like get into it or get at the end of a game day, just like that quick two-player back and forth, which is really fun. Now, the recent games that I've been playing, which is two-player specific, is tag team. So tag team is yeah,
Tell
it's
me about
really
that.
interesting. So tag team, you have 2 different, I guess, fighters, and each person will have 2 different fighters, and you'll have slightly different abilities and different decks, and the 2 decks will be mixed into each other, and it's a little bit of memory because you'll start with 1 card, you'll both flip that 1 card over, actually start with 2 cards, and you choose the order, and then you'll flip the top card, and based on whoever like characters on that card will fight the other character, and then you'll flip the other one, and then you'll fight. You're trying to knock down one KO one character, which is knockout, right? Then you'll flip those cards over, draw 3 cards from your mixed deck, and choose one to put where you want it. So you're like, oh, okay, my first one was, defense. So if I put the fighting one, attacking one on top, then maybe, they're gonna not do it that way. And then you kind of have to remember what they did so that you can maybe put a defense where they're gonna hit you. And then it's silly because no one's gonna remember unless you have, photographic memory. And then you're like, that's what happened. And you just keep on going until someone's KO'd. So it's a little bit of
Interesting.
programming. You'll never shuffle the cards. It's
You
always
won't.
just adding 1 card to a
Okay.
place within the deck of your choice. And then you're just flipping 1 card over, kind of auto battler is what they call it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. That sounds like something that I think it's puzzly enough. I think my wife would really enjoy the puzzle aspect
Yeah.
of that.
It's a little bit lighter. Yeah. Have you tried Floristry?
Yes, we
That one's great.
love Floristry. That game. I can't win that game. Cannot. Now it's what happens when you marry someone who's smarter than you. It just it's it. She figures it all out. Do you have a favorite player color? Blue.
But a lot of people I play with also plays blue.
So how do you resolve that with your friends?
If it's a game I know well, then I will give up blue for the person who does not know the game as well, and I'll play red for the most part because
Okay.
usually the people I play red with, like Jackie, I'll play blue, they'll play red, right? But then they're not playing with us, so I'll play red instead because I'm always looking for blue. for the most part. If someone else plays blue, I always tell them, I might move your piece. I will take longer to take my turns because I have to recalculate because I'm calculating for blue, you know? But there's a
Yep.
lot of games that player color does not matter, like in Let's Go to Japan. And so I don't mind sitting wherever. It's just blue's usually pretty. So
Okay. Yeah. So I asked this question of everyone, and it was Iris last week, and then I had Grant Lyon on, and they both didn't have a color preference. And Grant specifically said by not having a player color preference, he doesn't ever move someone else's pieces or, because it affects the way you strategize because and I'm like, because I also have a favorite color, purple, and I'm like, I've been victim of that where I planned where the purple piece was or whatever, and I'm like, that's a good point, is not being attached to player color is.
But I think as a new gamer, you don't think about that. No
It's
one
true.
tells you that in the beginning, right?
Right.
And you just go with your favorite color because, everyone has a favorite color, right?
Right.
So it isn't for someone like Grant who, plays tons of games and
Sure.
is constantly put out content. That's like a must, right? That's a must way to reformulate your brain so that you can get more games played, so that you can play with more players. But as a casual gamer or someone new to hobby, no one's gonna tell you not to do that, right?
That's true. That's true. What I try to do if I'm introducing a game to some new gamers, I try to just give them a color rather than ask them. I mean, a lot of people are like, well, that's kind of rude, but for everything you just said, and if they're like, hey, can I play green? I was like, okay, that's fine. But I warn them if, later. I try to at least try to be. But then at the end of the day, you can do whatever you want. Right? So let's talk about content creation. I'm really interested in your story where you transitioned from just a casual gamer into an actual content creator, right? And I've talked about this with everyone else. The difference, I believe, is intention, right? And that's what really makes you separates a content creator from a casual gamer. When did that happen for you? Why did you decide to do that? Just talk to me through that.
I've always created content, taking pictures basically, and
Right.
posting it, on social media. But
Right.
it wasn't like until the pandemic that I started moderating for a lot of Twitch streamers. And so, I was on, 3 or 4 different streams moderating for them, and seeing how they do it. And then I was watching Matthew Jude on his stream, and it was his birthday. And then people started, giving him money, like donating and all that stuff. And, him and Paul have been doing this for years, right? Things Get Dicey, their podcast and everything. So I was like, yeah, that's really cool. But I personally could never like just go on and ask for money. But my birthday was coming up. So I was like, maybe I should do a birthday stream, but I don't want to ask for money for myself. So I decided to raise money for Extra Life. Extra Life is a charity that helps the Miracle Network of hospitals, children's hospitals specifically, in North America. And they always have a lot of gamers and they do a big game day. So I was like, okay, I'll raise money for that. So I had 1 week until my birthday. And then I did one test stream, and then I did an 18-hour stream for my very first proper stream. Of course, a lot of things went wrong, but I did an 18-hour stream. I had probably 15 different guests on. Sometimes my camera went out, but the guest was still there, so we're still chatting. I'm eating, and it was so awesome. I went one 2-hour section. I had 8 different guests on. We were playing a big party game and stuff. So through just playing games and doing content, well, actually just consuming content, I got to know these people, and there's a lot of us in the LA area, right?
Right.
And they all said yes, so I was surprised. So they were on for my very first stream, and then I never stopped streaming after that on Twitch, and it was so much fun. So yeah, my streams have evolved. It started out very raw with my laptop, and then I had a green screen, and then I evolved to be able to do it on a computer and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it was a crazy day. I was like, oh, I should do 24 hours, and then I thought about it. No, I've already raised over, like, my goal was 1,000. I raised about $1,400, and
Way
I
to
was like, I
go.
don't have any time. Why do I keep on going? So I stopped at
Yeah.
18 hours.
Do you still do charity work for Astralife?
Extra Life, yeah.
Extra Life. Sorry.
Extra Life,
Extra Life.
yeah.
Yes. So, okay, so we'll make sure to get a link to that to put in the description of the episode if anyone's
Yeah,
interested
that'd be
in
awesome.
learning more about Extra Life. Yeah. So one of the things that while consuming your content and getting prepared for this conversation, this image came up, or it's not an image. It's I tend to think in clips and phrases, right? Chunks of words. I put them together, and then I was like, I wanted to make this the title of the episode, and I was like trying to figure it out, right? And all I could think about, in to me, right? And I'm consumed a lot of your content like in a short period of time, right? Is I think the best description that I can come up with for you is many shows, many talents. That is just because you are just everywhere, right? You've been on Instagram since 2020, and you've been on YouTube since 2011, which is crazy for someone who's only been on YouTube for a year. And then, of course, Twitch, I think, is my next question. And I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this. Twitch is your preferred platform for creating content. Would you say that's correct?
It's the one my ADHD will allow, if that makes
Okay.
sense. Like,
No, I
it's
get it.
it's easier for me. I get my because I'm an extrovert, my hit of, some kind of interaction with a human being. I can play games, I can chit chat, and it helped me through the pandemic. It's now I'm kind of set it and forget it a little bit. I have my lists of things. It's much easier. I'm slowly getting into editing of videos and stuff, but that's like a whole new skill set. Like, content creation is just learning one skill set after another. Like, Twitch streaming is, I didn't realize it, but it's basically you are producing your own TV show by yourself. Like, you have to deal with lighting, you have to deal with sound, you have to deal with the content, you have to deal with guests, you have to deal with scheduling, you have to deal with, like, the whole technical part of it, of
Mm-hmm.
actually getting it live,
Yep.
and all of the different programs, and how do you make it interactive, and how do you change it, and how do you market it, right, and advertise it. So I don't know if people realize that you know streamers really do produce a TV show for you
Yeah.
without a budget. So yeah, without it, like,
Right.
any money. Yeah,
No revenue.
no,
You don't get
very
paid.
little.
I mean, you can, right? Obviously, monetization is possible and is everyone's goal. Maybe not everyone's goal, but you know. So it's funny that you bring that up. Just moments before we started recording, and I was like, okay, it's episode 150. I've got to do something special, right? I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Oh, I should have dressed up for it. I should have brought up my tuxedo. I was like, well, I don't have time for that. I'll do that at episode 200 or something. Like, so I found my jacket, but I also have like these. I mean, because I'm on a folding table with a ring light and a laptop. you know, just sit in front the shelves and talk
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
people, right? And I'm like, what am I gonna do? I've got these little small portable kind of lights, and I'm like, it's just I couldn't. It's a lot, and I have a lot to learn. I will say, someone who's been really helpful recently, because our friendship is very new, is Bonzinator. She was my first episode in this series. She was kind enough to jump on and help me launch the series. Afterwards, she's been really helpful with me, although sometimes she talks over my head in terms of technology because she built her own computer and is going to do these. She's doing cool things, but I'm like, hey, what do I need to do? You sat with me. How's my lighting? How's this? How's that? I want to make it a better experience for my viewers, of course,
Hmm.
and I want to draw more people to YouTube. Right? I'm a terrible short form content creator. I'm really bad at that. I really like the long form. I'm into the interviews, right? It's the academic and the journalist in me, right? It wants to sit down and let you tell your stories, but I want it to look good. And this face is not one you want to look at for very long, so I got to do what I can. Well,
Wife
thanks.
loves looking at the face.
Maybe, I don't know. She's always helped me make costumes, and back when we were in Louisiana, lots of masks for Mardi Gras, so my everything I would tell people, she made this jacket for me as well. I was like, you know, my wife's gotta cover up all this ugly, I mean, it's just, you know, but, I mean, yes, all joking aside, but yeah, you're right. There's a lot of work into content creation, and I had no idea the labor goes into live streaming, especially on Twitch. Twitch terrifies me. It which is interesting because you're talking about it, how it's so easy, and I'm like, it's
It's
scary.
easy for me now that I've finished,
Yeah,
doing all that, right? And I
right.
have like set it and forget it things. Like it's definitely hard. Although it's also like any content creation, right? Always start
Yep,
with what you have. Do
yep,
not buy things until you know you want to do it for a longer period of time, right? You can live stream from your phone. A
you can.
lot of people do it.
They
You
do.
can live stream with just a one ring light and a phone. That's a lot of basic setups. Our phones nowadays are mini computers. They are amazing. The cameras are amazing. iPhone wants to be your video camera, right? So
It
I
really
feel like
does, you're right.
that's why I think like Twitch is kind of easy because also when it's live, people are more willing to, be like, oh, it's live. Of course we're gonna have technical issues.
Sure.
They're like, yeah, it's not really a stream unless you have technical issues. They're more willing to say, be gracious, give you, the chance. While in edited form, they're like, oh, that editing's terrible, or why can't they figure out that sound? Or, like you could have edited all these ums out. Like,
Yep,
it's
yep,
they're more particular because they know you have more time to deal
sure.
with it. Yeah. But I
And
also
that's a lot of time too.
yes,
Like,
editing a lot of time.
editing, guys. So it's like, so cut some people some slack. If they're not getting paid
Exactly.
and they're doing this for the love of it, keep that in
Yeah.
mind too.
Yeah.
Editing, it takes more work for me to edit this episode than it does for us to record it,
Oh, absolutely. And that's
you
the
know?
whole reason why I think Twitch is a little bit easier for me versus like something like this. Although, people think this is easier because they can edit out all the problems and redo things and stuff,
I mean,
you know. So
that is true, but so, what's interesting about this type of content is when I first started the podcast with Gareth, I don't like the sound of my own voice,
me too. Oh gosh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I don't like seeing myself on camera. I quickly got over that. Okay. Like, I'm
Well,
like, okay, because you have to, right?
you have to.
Because the thing about editing, and again, I don't think this is something a lot of people realize as well, is so when we're done and I go to edit this, I basically have to watch this entire episode, right? I mean, yes, there is some automation, right? If getting the pops and the ums and the ahs and the silences that are linger, that's like a click of a button. However, though, sometimes you want to like, I don't like what I said. Or one time I had a guest who asked me, could you please edit out when we talked about this, right? Because, the guest wasn't comfortable sharing that with listeners. I was like, okay, fine. What that means, though, is I have to go back because I'm not notating this all here. I got to go and listen to it all, catch it, delete it. The editing is easy, but it's the getting to it all, right? You
Yeah.
got to
And for like
sit
me
with it.
who's an amateur editor, I'm listening to this like multiple times. You have to listen to it once slowly and you're repeating sections and then you have to do it all again and then maybe you catch something and then you have to like go through and edit. Yeah, editing, I think Riverside is a great, tool because of the
Yes.
transcripts. It makes editing so
Mhm.
much easier. But when you're
So much
editing
easier.
video without Riverside and the transcript, it's just so hard. Like you're listening, it's taking 3 times as long as the recording to actually edit the episode. Plus, you have to add in graphics and overlays and all that other stuff if you want to
That's the
use
part
it.
I'm learning. Overlays and B-roll. Like, that scared me, and I'm getting better at overlays. I'm still having trouble with B-roll, but I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there, guys. I'm gonna get there. I could do it.
And one tip for you, since you
Yeah.
do use Riverside,
Hmm.
they create shorts for you. Just go check them out. edit
Yep.
a little bit, put a
Yep.
front thing, in it, and send it off into the universe.
I've messed around with the magic clips a little bit.
Yeah.
I've just, yeah, because I got to figure one of the things Bonds and I talked about is I need to make more short form to draw people to the podcast, to consume the long. It's like these are all the things that we have to deal with, right? Whew, man.
I
I'm
do
telling
have
you.
to say, a friend gave me this tip. Your
Okay.
short form is like the trailer of a movie. It's
Mm,
like a little hook, a little like if you enjoyed this, and
right.
then go watch the movie, right? You're not
Yeah.
telling the whole story. You're giving them a little clip of, what they could be listening to or watching.
Yeah.
So yeah, your
That's
short
true.
forms should be little trailers. Bonds is an amazing marketing person because she
So
actually
good.
went to college and learned
Right.
about it and stuff. Yeah, but her short
Yep.
form are like full on advertising videos, which
That's
is
true.
absolutely amazing. Yeah,
That is true. And we're not all Bonds. So,
no, we
and thank
cannot be
God
all
we're
Bonds.
not, right? Yeah. She's definitely an inspiration. I have to say, and hopefully she'll be on this series in a couple of weeks, is Dana, who on Instagram is Better Mood Board Games. Her reels are just magical, and she uses natural light, sunlight in a window, and her iPhone or her Android. I'll find out when she's on the podcast, and because that's one of the reasons. Like, she's just so lovely a person, but I was like, your content's amazing and really inspirational. Which leads me to my next question: who, or what, or where? I got so many questions. Where do you get your inspiration for the content that you create?
Right now, I'm kind of on autopilot. I'm kind of doing kind of the same thing that I've been doing. I'm changing little things and stuff, but I definitely consume content, and especially it's funny. I've talked to other content creators, and there's like generations or different like eras of content creators. Like Suzanne and Mandy, Salt and Sass Games are definitely one of the OG people. Also, What's Eric playing? And then we have the pandemic people, right? Which is part of me. Like I'm the pandemic Twitch people. The Brothers Murph, Paula Deming's kind of in the middle. I mean, they've been doing it for a long time, but you know what I mean? Like in terms of Twitch, right? So like when I started with Twitch, we'd all help each other, watch each other's streams, and talk with each other. We're all friends, and then it'd be like, how did you do that? What camera did you use that? And that's what we're doing behind the scenes on Discord. Like, can you tell me what camera that was? Like, what was your lighting like you did with Bonds, right? And then we'd help each other. But then there's like, redemptions. Like, I think someone started the daily check-in, and then John started doing it, then I started doing it. Mine's is called a daily paw. And then, Bond started doing it. And so we're trying to like try different things as we see other people do it. We take snippets from each other. We, ask each other for help all the time. I mean, Silver Medal Tavern, if you want to see the most highly produced live stream, go to the Silver Medal Tavern because he's an actual Hollywood editor. Like he edited the Star Trek series, Strange New Worlds. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
one of the editors of that one.
Okay.
But like his whole setup, like he has like a zoom in, like he, when someone raids, his whole studio lights turn off, and then he has like this really nice transition and everything. He has like the highest polished produced live streams because he's in that industry, and so then we ask him, what's the camera that you use? Like what is the, different functions that you're using? Like how are you doing that? And some of it, of course, is out of my budget. So I won't get
Yep.
there yet. But it's always good to have tricks and tips from other streamers. Never be afraid to be like, I'm thinking of starting this. How
Yeah.
did you do that? I was on another stream. The streamers, it's Steven, and I think it's Pixels and Pixies. I forgot what the exact. I'm terrible with names, so something like that.
Okay.
But they like a pop up of the chat, and so I just mentioned, I'm like, "How did you do that?" And he's like, "Oh, here's the link to the website." I'm like, "Cool. Can you help me set this up?" They're like, "Yeah." And so yeah, so it really, I think the inspiration is from each other. We grow together. We help each other out, become better, and we all do better by sharing and,
Yes.
supporting one another rather than gatekeeping or keeping, the tricks and stuff to ourselves because that's not fun.
Nope. No, it's
Yeah.
not. I think the other thing too is I don't know if other creators suffer from this. I think maybe sometimes, which is really weird because I am an extrovert from Louisiana who is not afraid to talk to somebody. It's like my dad said, the only person I don't know is a stranger, and I don't know that many strangers, right? And yet, like approaching Grant and Bonds and other content creators, I was terrified. Like, I feel like you're out of my league. And then because I'm listening to you talk, and I'm like, man, I really need to start reaching out for help to get better. I keep lecturing everyone in this community to do better. I need to take my own advice. So you're witnessing it now. I'm going to do better. I'm going
Keep
to get
him on
better.
track. When he
Yeah.
when he doesn't reach out to someone, tell him you
Yes.
can do this. The
Yes.
worst thing that happens is going to be a no or
Yeah.
ghosting. That's fine. They're not
I
your
don't
people.
know. Is ghosting fine? I don't like ghosting.
I hate ghosting, but it's happening. People have anxiety. I give
True.
them the benefit of the doubt that it's in their spam folder, whatever. But I think that it's important to, try. If you don't ask, you'll always get a no, right? Is the
Right.
saying. Yeah. So
Yes, we have that conversation all the time. All the time. So I'm going to ask this question, and it's already been answered, but let's see if we can fine tune it with a little finesse. If someone were thinking about becoming a content creator in the board game community, what is there one piece of advice that you would give them and be like, this is the most important?
if someone wanted to start content creation, I would say figure out what type of content creation you already like doing. Do you already like taking pictures? Do you already like teaching games? Do you already like talking to people? Do you already like, playing games on a camera, right? I would say start with something that you already like doing and then make it purposeful. I know it's like people say, do what you love. You'll never work. No, you'll work more. You'll work harder when you do something you love.
Thank
Also,
you.
sometimes,
Thank you.
yeah, yeah, it's the worst like saying, but also sometimes when you go into the industry that you love, like board games, you no longer like board games because then it's work, right? So give yourself 3 months, try it out. If you don't enjoy it, ignore the numbers, ignore the audience in terms of like how your growth is on the social media. Just if you don't enjoy it, just stop and then try something else. I feel like the worst thing about board game content creation is burnout. And that's because now we feel a pressure to, play or show off certain games, even though we might not like it, right? And then we burn out. And then you need a different hobby because you used your hobby as work. So I
Yep.
feel like the thing for new content creators, is to not pressure yourself, figure out what you like doing often, right? And then you can refine it and make it better. But if you don't like teaching games, don't play them live. You're going to teach games all the time. Yeah, don't do live plays. Don't do live streams. You're going to have to teach it on the fly, Don't do how to play videos, If you just like playing games, there's ways to play test, that will actually generate income. There's ways to, demo. Demo's also teaching games. But you know what I'm saying, right?
I do.
Like,
I do.
figure out you like talking to people, so a podcast is the best way to do it.
Absolutely. This was a natural fit for me, right? Plus, no one does what I'm doing, right? We're just having conversations and interviews. I mean, sometimes we don't even talk about board games. We just talk about, you know, this. And I thought this was a really great journey. And I'm really enjoying that. So I want to close out with this last question. I think it's an important one, especially given everything that we're going through. To your mind, what is the one thing that this community, industry, right, does so well, and you're so thankful for being a part of it? What is so great about this community?
Even though like it seems like there's thousands of board games every year, it's a small community.
Yeah.
There's only a certain number of publishers. Everyone knows just about everyone else, especially in like the US content creators kind of know each other, right? And the
Right.
European kind of, it's such a networking type of community. I just love that you just get to know people, and then those people invite you to know people as well, because as an adult, it's very hard to make friends outside of work, right? It's very
Yeah.
hard to make friends outside of work. You have to literally go out of your way to find a class. And even if you just take a class, for your hobby, then you don't continue talking. And so I think board games is a great way for adults to make friendships. I love how this hobby supports each other. I love how it grows. We kind of try to keep each other in line, like, let's get some more colorblind friendly lists. Let's do less plastics. Let's make sure that we have a diverse group of people
Yeah.
showing off the games,
Yep.
all the stuff that we're hoping to continue on. And when people, step back, or there's all these bad actors and terrible people, there's a network of people warning you, they're not gonna, be good for you, or they're not paying you, or they're just gonna use you, or all that stuff. And so then it's very supportive. I feel like with anything though, you still have to make decisions for yourself, have boundaries, figure out who is it that you want within your circle, because there's a lot of bad people in any industry, right? So just be careful, listen to others, listen to people that have been there longer, and understand that, even if they might not like someone, you might still have a good relationship, but maybe you should still not force that person onto someone else because they might have a bad interaction. So it's all those like interpersonal parasocial things that happens with content creation. But it also gives me actual like real life friends that I will go meet up every week, in real life, or I will go to their house, and hang out, and we will share other things besides board games, like movies or musicals or TV shows or recipes and stuff. And I think I love that board games really helps broaden your horizons and helps you make friends in a very hard time of your life if you're not working in a office, right?
Right.
To make friends.
Right. Absolutely. That was lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't have anything to add to that. No, that was just beautiful. You have said succinctly everything I've thought, and I've tried to communicate through this show. So thanks for that. Amanda, tell everyone where they can find you if they want to try to consume your content, or maybe reach out to you and ask you for more tips for being a content creator.
The very short answer is I'm under Panda Angel everywhere. That's PANDA, the number 8, NGEL, on most all the socials. I will even have an account and don't post on it because I don't want anyone to take my name, which is another
Okay.
tip. If you're doing
Yeah.
content creation, have one name, post it everywhere so people can find you. But the other things I do, I just started being the host of the BGG podcast. You can
Yeah.
find me also on the 5 podcast.
Yep.
You can find me under Our Family Plays Games on YouTube, which is I'm part of their Kickstarter preview team and part of OFPG Voices. Mainly, I stream 4 days a week on Twitch when I'm in town. I know it's a lot. And then I am part of the TLN Tabletop Live Network and Tabletop After Dark marathons that happen once a month or once every month. Yeah, there's a lot of different things. I'm just looking at, if you go to Gen Con, I help run the BIPOC Lounge and put that together.
Okay.
I'm a event co-chair for the Rose Gauntlet Foundation, which is a charity that's put on by Rose Gauntlet Entertainment that helps, make sure there's diversity and inclusivity in the industry itself, but not just in the community. So we're supportive there. So you can find me in a lot of different places, but
Yes.
mainly under Panda Angel, and usually I'll pull in all the other things that I'm on, and I have a list on YouTube of Panda on other people's channels, which this podcast will be in that list as well.
Thank you.
So you can see all the lovely humans that have,
Yes.
asked me to guest, and I'm always happy to guest because guess what? Guesting is the easiest thing you could do for content creation.
easiest. It
I
is the
don't have to
easiest.
deal with anything but come on, play a game, chit chat, you know?
Yeah. All right. And you're welcome to come back anytime to talk about anything that's on your mind.
Oh, thank you so
I
much.
would love to have you. It's been a delight. Well, guys, thank you so much. Amanda, thank you for joining me for episode 150. Huge
Congratulations.
milestone. Thank you. And don't forget to like and subscribe to all the things and send me comments. I want to hear your thoughts about this journey. We're only 7 episodes into this series. I think there's like 7 or 8 more to go. I really am just embracing this community, and I hope you are too. As always, guys, be kind to each other and let's play more games.